Hey, soil peeps. I'm out here with the winter sowing containers. We are having a high in the high 60s and 70s. And so I just came out to check the containers and noticed that some of them didn't have any precipitation. So what we're doing is we're watering. We're using our little oil can, put about a good inch of water in it and put in our containers in it. And if you notice, the majority of these containers right here, there's no precipitation on it. So this is the only upkeep that you have to do to your containers if you are not in a climate where it is raining a lot, it's snowing a lot. You just want to keep an eye on your containers. And see, there's a few other here where you don't see any droplets on the containers. So this is that weekly checkup that you're going to give to your winter sowing containers. And then of course, if the soil looks dark brown on the top, it looks dry, you want to go ahead and just set them in a little water, not a lot. You don't want to flood them, just a little bit, and let them uptake that water, and just keep an eye on them. And here you go, here's another one. See, we're just gonna set that in the little oil pan, and we're gonna put them back out in the garden. Now see, you have the other ones, they look just fine, no problem, so you don't have to worry about those. But just for our winter sowing newbies, I just want you to know that it's just not about setting and forgetting. That's why it's good to have clarity with stuff. And you'll have your gardeners up north saying, oh, you just leave them outside and you don't do anything. But we're down in 7B. So you have winter sowers in 7B, 9B, 8B, all those areas where it gets really hot. We have to do a little bit different. Now, we're going to get some rain a little bit later, but I don't want to wait 3 and 4 days for it to rain into my containers. Or if you want, you can do an overhead sprinkler if that's what you want, or you can set them in containers. Just make sure to check your containers weekly. If you have some highs, you may want to check them every couple of days. Like if you have 60s and 70s, you want to check them for 2 things. You want to check them to see if anything has sprouted that needs covering when it gets cold, and you want to check to make sure that you have some moisture in your containers. All right, I got everything all watered up and as organized as I thought I was. Honey, when I got the water, and I'm like, this stuff ain't organized. So right here is all those big containers that was on the other side. This is all of my tomatoes and peppers and all of my herbs that are right here. And then we do have the marigolds that came up. I mean, a lot of them came up. So like I said, our temperatures are dipping. I mean, next week we're looking at between the 70s and 20s. Yep, welcome to 7B. So I will be covering up a couple of the containers that have sprouted. The marigolds, I told y'all, love a good marigold. It's good companion plants, and I want to have many of them, but I got to protect them from the cold snaps. And then over here, this is radishes, turnips, lettuce, and beets, because of course, with all of the weather and the freezing and stuff, my brassicas didn't do their best. I still have some growing in the garden. We've been fertilizing and babying them, but hey, I want to get some more turnips in the ground. Those radishes that I showed y'all on the previous video, look at them. So we're going to get those in the ground. And because radishes don't like it to be really, really cold, what I'm going to do is when I do get them in the ground, we're waiting on that second set of leaves, I'm going to cover them up. And then over here is the perennials. So all of my perennial flowers, the only thing we had to come up right now is the yarrow, but we're waiting on some rudbeckias and some echinacea, some black-eyed Susans, which is rudbeckia, lavender. I have a hard time with lavender. If you have any tricks about lavender, let me know. We have some lavender, some drumsticks, some hibiscus flowers, some roselle, and yeah. So I reorganized the winter sowing containers so that, like I said, if we should get a snap and I have something that come up, I know that this is the only section that I have to cover. And then the rest of them, like I said, this will be going into the garden. As soon as something comes up, I'm going to pop it over in the garden, in the bed. And we're going to try to get us some kind of harvest, even though, you know, like I said, everything is not dead. It's just stagnated from all this weather. Last year when I was growing in the bed, I mean, everything looked nice, but this is what's left over from all the freezing rain. I mean, I had it covered up. I did everything I could to preserve it, but all is not lost. You know, we still have some carrots, some Swiss chard over here, and we have a few turnips. The greens don't look too good, but the roots are still there, and just a few other things. And I'm just thinking maybe because this week the weather's going to even out a little bit, maybe we'll get some more growth. And we fertilized this morning, and over here we pulled up a lot of stuff because it was dead, you know. It was no resurrecting it. So what we're going to do is all those plants that we have in the winter sowing containers, we're going to replace all these empty squares. And over here we have some things that we started, but because the weather was just so wonky, you know, this was some radishes. They didn't really do well, so we're just gonna pull it up. We got some more radishes, and we're just gonna start all over again, you know. Thank God for that. And this is those Japanese mustards that was looking so bad. We just pruned them around, and they're growing and they're looking really good. So hopefully by early spring we'll have an early harvest from our winter sowing jugs. All right, soil peeps, if I haven't asked you already, click like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Peace out.